Xfinity Series. It's Cole Custer, everyone. Cole joining us here, coming on the heels of three straight top five finishes overall, and going to a track where you've got three consecutive top fives as well, Cole. So I imagine the feelings are pretty good that you guys are on a good roll, both overall and coming to a track you seem to like.
Yeah, we've definitely had a solid streak here. I mean, talking with JT and all our guys after, we're hungry for that little bit more. We've really been running solid, but I feel like we've been maximizing days really good. Our pit crew has been really good; they've been on it. Our guys have been really good about adjustments through the race and trying to maximize our day. But we want that little bit more that can lead to winning races. So I feel like we're doing a good job right now. It's just how we get finish the thing off.
All right, if you've got a question for Cole, by all means, raise your hand, and we'll get to as many questions as we can. I did want to, we'll go to Zach here in a second, but Cole, I did want to ask, it's still early in the season, but when you see that you jump from 11th to third in points, what does that do for a team to just kind of see? And I know there's volatile movements here early in the season, but still, you're kind of in that top five spot where you're kind of in striking range now for first place.
Yeah, I mean, it builds some confidence just because I feel like even on our not best days recently, we've been able to run top five and have good points and be able to really maximize as good as we could. So I feel like when we do have, the days that we want and the speed that we want, we're gonna really be able to make it happen. It's just trying to, get that on a consistent basis. But I feel like all our guys in the shop are working extremely hard right now. And I think we have some good stuff coming right now. It's just a matter of putting it all together.
All right, very good. We had a couple people just join here a couple minutes into it. So if you've got a question for Cole, please raise your hand and we'll kick off the Q&A session here with Zach Sterniolo. Go ahead, Zach.
Hey Cole, coming off the off season here as the reigning champion, how did that impact your mindset heading into the season, and how would you evaluate how these first 5 weeks have gone based off of that?
I think the biggest thing was just how you got to keep the intensity up to try and go win races. We did such a good job last year and we ended on such a high note. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything, doesn't pay anything for this year. So we have to really dig deep to figure out, what we need to keep grinding really. So we've done a great job of maximizing our days and making the most of it. But we're going to keep working to try and get that a little bit better to get back in victory lane.
Thank you.
All right, Zach, thank you. Let's go to Roy Akers. Hey, Roy.
Hello, I won't have video today, but Cole, obviously it's already been brought out about your three top fives already this year and the other stats that lead your way. Do you have the silly season happen to you early, where teams are feeling you out for, an additional race here or there to hire your services or for 2025 or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we'll take that as it comes. I feel like I love where I'm at right now, and with my group of guys. I mean, go and compete for wins and championships every year. I mean, that's a dream come true in any top three series in NASCAR. So to run for great owners like Gene Haas and Tony Stewart and be able to compete for wins and championships is a dream come true. So I'm definitely really happy. I mean, obviously, I'm hungry for that next opportunity in Cup. I feel like I have a little bit of unfinished business in the Cup Series, maybe, but at the end of the day, I feel like you just make the most of what's in front of you at the moment. I feel like we have a great group of people who can go and win races.
Thank you.
All right, let's head over to Trey Downey, MRN. Hello, Trey.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Cole. Going into Richmond this weekend, just how important has tire management become at that track?
Huge. I mean, Richmond it's probably the most similar to being on ice. Like being on ice without ice skates is what it feels like, after about 5 laps. So you're just slipping and sliding around and you have to just manage your tires the most you can to try and have something at the end of the run because there will be guys that, don't have that long run car and that, you'll just eat them up on the long run. So especially being a day race for Xfinity, I mean, it's all you can to keep the tires on it. I mean, it'll kill them after 5 laps. So you definitely have to have the car balance good to try to keep the tires on it. But then you have your job as a driver to try and make sure you don't overslip the tires and kill them.
And then next week going into Martinsville, We're working on a feature on hot dogs. So 2 questions related to hot dogs for you. Number one, is a hot dog a sandwich? And number two, when you have a hot dog, what are the go-to toppings?
A hot dog is not a sandwich. I don't know who came up with that, but I don't think of a sandwich whenever I eat a hot dog. I know that. And then for toppings, I'm usually pretty simple. Usually ketchup, mustard, relish. But when you go to Martinsville, I usually get the classic, but I don't like the slaw. The only thing I don't like is the slaw at the Martinsville hot dog.
I'm right there with you. Thank you.
You and Cindric, the same feelings about hot dog not being a sandwich. So I'm sure Trey's got a wide variety of answers to that question. Let's go to John Newby from NBC. Hello, John.
Hello, thank you. So, Cole, you talked earlier about, maximizing your day, the work you guys have put in, but I was curious, what was the biggest factor you guys identified over the offseason? Because it has been a stark difference between, last year where early on you were struggling with consistency and obviously this year with the strong runs you guys have been having.
So you're saying from the start of last year to the start of this year, you're saying, or from the end of last year to this year? I feel like from the start of last year, I mean, it's just such a different ball game for us from a notebook standpoint. There were so many things that we were trying to figure out at that point of what to bring to the racetrack, from a setup standpoint. And I feel like we just really built a great notebook throughout the year. And now, we've been able to really unload exactly where we need to be for the most part. And have solid top 5 cars where we want them. I think there's been a couple little changes, with tires and rule changes with the aero side, a little bit on the Xfinity Series from last year. So I think just trying to adapt to that is a little bit just what we maybe need to do a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think we're right there in the mix and just have to put it all together.
Okay, and then on a entirely different note, I mean, when you have newcomers coming in like Bubba Pollard making his debut, I mean, do you pay much attention to that? And then what do you kind of expect from guys who have excelled in short track racing kind of making their way over to Xfinity?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting. I mean, it's awesome that he's getting that opportunity to go and run in NASCAR, top 3 series. So obviously he's one of the best race car drivers to ever do it. I feel like at the short track level, I think that's no easy task to go and win the amount of races that he's won. So the only thing that he's going to struggle with is just, the obvious. I mean, there's not much practice. He's never been in the cars before. So even though, he's obviously a talented race car driver that can probably do it, just trying to adapt and get the balance of the car how he wants it, and just go through the weekend how he needs to and get every step of the way right is going to be difficult for him. But I think he definitely has the potential to go out there and run good for sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. Let's go to Dustin Long. Hey, Dustin.
Hey, hey, Cole. I think it's been about like 6 weeks or so since the announcement about the baby coming along. I know there's still a lot of time before that happens, but where are you in terms of 6 weeks in since announcing it to everybody? Are you reading books? Are you preparing things, or are you waiting until the last minute?
We'll probably start getting on all that stuff soon. We actually just moved houses over the off weekend a couple weeks ago, so just needed a little bit more room for the baby and everything. So so that was kept us busy, but I think now we'll start probably putting together the baby room and start really getting on things a little bit. But my wife Carrie, she's doing good. She's been just definitely a champ through the whole thing, and we're really excited. We're just excited to bring another Custer into the world, and just can't wait for August.
Also, can you give me a sense with having the Cup experience and also the Xfinity experience in this way? There are certain things you need to excel at in the Cup Series to excel. I would suspect that there are some things in the Xfinity Series you need to excel at that are different in some degree. So how do you work at excelling in the Xfinity Series while still keeping whatever particular skills you may need in the Cup Series that may not be used as often in Xfinity because of different cars, different competition, or what have you?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just have to keep pushing yourself to find ways to make yourself better. I think it can be easy to get complacent, even when you're running top 5 and top 10 in Xfinity and winning some races, but you have to keep pushing yourself to figure out, okay, how can I do this move a little bit different in the race, or try and get ahead on, what the track's doing, or try and be aggressive on restarts, keeping up with what different moves people are kind of coming up with to try and work on restarts and be aggressive, because you just don't want to get complacent. I think is the biggest thing. You have to keep working on different little things that you can try and make yourself better, because in the Cup Series, everything moves so fast and evolves. It's almost, it pushes you to be, keep evolving as a driver. Where Xfinity, I feel like, maybe it's not evolving quite as fast, but you can still keep up with it and try and push yourself to be that Cup level driver.
Can you give me an example of how you evolved or gotten better since maybe the beginning of this season, or if that's too small of a window, since maybe partway through last season?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just every week the work that you put in to study restart, study passing. I mean, even like you look at this weekend and it's like, that move that Shane Van Gisbergen put on in the Xfinity race, and Ross tried it in the Cup race into turn one where he crossed him over, like staying up on things like that to like push yourself to keep trying to be that aggressive and trying to make those big moves, because those things, like it's huge as a driver to keep pushing yourself. So and I think also one of the big things for me is just how you work with your team to try and stay ahead of things, and try and get the cars how you want them to drive, and because you got to work weeks in advance to really go through all the details. So I think being able to really work with your team how you need to and get the cars how you want to when you show up to the track is a huge part of it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dustin. Let's go to Mitchell Brewer. Hello, Mitchell.
Hello. Cole, starting last week at Coda, there's a long stretch in the Xfinity Series going through the end of April without another off weekend. How important is a stretch like this, like the one you're currently in, right at the beginning of the season?
Well, it's huge in just trying to get your bearings straight and just you have to figure out your problems now, trying to really address everything and using the off weekends to your advantage to try and get ahead on things. Because when it goes to that stretch, I mean, it's very easy to get behind. So you just have to try and keep up with it right now and really get ahead on what your problems are and how to fix them. And I think that'll set you up through the whole stretch.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mitchell. Just want to check to see if anybody's got any follow-ups. Bob, Kelly, Lee, got anything? Dustin, got any follow-ups, or are we good to go? Give you guys a second.
I'll take one.
Sure.
Cole, I'm curious. Obviously you wanted to start racing, I think, at 4 years old. So you were kind of already into racing when the movie Cars came out. I think you had been about 7, 8 years old. Do you remember much about that movie, or did it make much of an impact in any way for you?
I mean, I thought as a kid it was like one of the coolest things, like having a movie based kind of on NASCAR, so I was definitely a fan of it. Did it change like how I looked at the sport or got me into it? No, like I was kind of already into it before that. But I feel like as a kid that loved NASCAR, like it was cool to see other people, really excited about it and be making that big of an impact. So it was a really cool movie, I feel like, and yeah, I was a fan of it.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.